All systems online. Let's go, Siegfried. I'll show you how I do things.
That was badass. Hey guys, Mace1370 here. Today we're looking at Last Rider Krau, and he's pretty awesome looking. He has like a Techno Knight vibe going on and a Tron horse. I'm into it. Looking at his base stats, they're the same as his RGB counterpart, so we're going to be able to build him pretty fast and tanky. Most people are probably familiar with how RGB Krau is built. I think, he'll have at least 200 speed, lots of HP, probably around 25k or so. Probably won't need to stack effect resistance on him, so we can maybe ignore that and put it into attack potentially. Looking at his imprints, his imprint release being critical hit chance, I'm not a huge fan of for things like RTA, because you never know what heroes you're going to have together, and if you rely on having a crit chance imprint, well, if they ban your Last Rider Krau, for example, then you're just out of luck there. So I think I'm going to go with imprint concentration on him. It's health, so it's going to be awesome for him. I think that'll be an easy choice. Okay, so his skill 3, Mobile Weapon Siegfried. This is an AoE attack. It grants immunity to all of your allies for 2 turns. It has 100% defense penetration, and the damage scales off of his max health, and then he gets additional scaling every time he uses the skill, and that can stack up to 3 times. The multipliers are out, and they're a little bit low, so I think people were somewhat disappointed with that. However, this is 100% defense penetration, so it's going to be very reliable damage. And it's an AoE attack, so the multipliers are never going to be super high. I think the real question is how often will we get to use this skill, as it has a pretty long cooldown, 7 turns, which is really 6 after you use Molagora. So I think as long as we get to use this skill frequently, he'll be a really strong hero. Code number 00, this is his skill 2, it's a passive. So every time he gets hit with an AoE attack, it decreases his skill cooldown by 1 turn, and it also gives a barrier to all allies for 1 turn. The barrier strength increases with his max health again, and the barrier can only be activated once per turn. So I think here is going to be, the real crux of his kit. If you pair him against AoE heroes, how often is this passive causing his skill 3, to activate and do a ton of damage? The barriers, I think, are going to be really nice, but these are not ML Haste barriers. For reference, ML Haste, if he has, let's just say 25k HP, I think the barriers will be around 10,000, which are huge. ML Haste barriers are huge, and that's without Molagora. If you put in Molas, it's going to be even more. Krau, on the other hand, if he has max Mola, I think I saw on the calculator that around 25k HP, his barrier would not even be 3k. So these are teeny barriers in comparison, but I think the idea is that they will just absorb a little bit of, the AoE damage, kind of like an extra perk. So just don't expect ML Haste level, massive fat barriers every time an AoE attack goes off. So his skill 1, Punishment, is a single target attack. It increases his speed for 1 turn, and also deals damage proportional to his max health, like his skill 3 does, except this skill 1 is going to scale better with max health than his skill 3 does, so that's something important to note. I like that his skill 1 gives him a buff that synergizes with the rest of his kit. Having increased speed will let him turn cycle more quickly and get off more skill 3s, do more damage. I think that's, a nice cohesive design. Okay, so since ML Krau has the exact same base stats as RGB Krau, we can take a look at how we might build him. Alright, so let's pull up Krau here and see what we can do. I think since ML Krau is going to be more damaged focused, and he doesn't need to worry about effectiveness like Blue Krau does, we'll be able to stack some attack in addition to the defensive stats and speed that we wanted. So I'm going to sort here by speed set and immunity set, which are, I think, the correct sets to build him on. And let's see, I think we're going to want health and speed on the weapon. Maybe attack and health would be another good way to sort, because I think we're going to want some of that also. Let's see. We don't really want crit chance or crit damage, especially since his skill 3 can't crit, so that would be totally pointless. This weapon's not bad for him. It has a fair bit of attack, a fair bit of health, and some nice speed. The ER isn't 100% wasted on him, Although I don't think that we're going to really be building him for much ER, so it probably won't make too much of a difference. How many stats is this? This isn't a ton, unfortunately. 17 plus 18 plus 16. 51. Oh, actually, it's not bad. Okay, so we'll use that weapon. And now let's see for a helm here. Looking for similar stats. We're going for health, defense on the helm as well. You can't get defense on weapons. Let's see, that one's kind of crappy. This is not bad. This has some crit damage, which he doesn't really need. It doesn't have defense either. Ideally, we would want defense there instead of crit damage. This is 42 stats, so not optimal. I don't know if I have any helms with attack, defense, health, and speed. Isn't it crazy how you can play this game for over a year and just like completely lack a particular item type? Let's see, maybe if we sort by attack and defense, or sorry, health and defense, we can see what else we have. Nope, that has ER, that has effectiveness. I think we might be striking out on the helm here. Well, this has 3, but it doesn't have speed, and like half the stats are in effectiveness, so that doesn't really do us any good. I probably need to craft more helms. Mine seem like they're pretty bad. Alright, we'll use that helm for now. Put this back on speed here. On this chest, I'm going to want to get health and defense at least, because you can't get attack on the chest anyways, and we've kind of lacked defense on our previous 2 pieces. That one was pretty good. This has a bunch of crit stuff on it. I'm trying to ideally look for pieces that aren't being used by anyone, because we're going to want to build him when he comes out in a couple weeks. I'm fairly close to pity, so I'm confident that I'll be able to get him. Alright, well, I think this is probably our best bet for now, just as a placeholder. Let's see, 24 plus 12 and 12, so 48. Pretty close to 50. So we're not going to see an ideal build for him today. I just don't have the gear, unfortunately. Alright, so for his neck, I think we're going to want health. And let's see if we have attack here. Ooh, yeah, this is a good one for him. So this has, health. We're going to want to get that really high. And then we have a ton of attack, some speed and defense. So I'm liking where this is going so far. So his ring here, I think we can probably go health main again. Let's see, do we have any... Oh, that's not bad. It has some crit chance, which isn't super useful for us. I'd love it if we had defense here. Do I have any with defense? I don't want to give up too much speed either. Okay, this one's not bad. It has some wasted effectiveness. No speed, unfortunately. No speed. No speed. No speed. What is Tamarin's ring? Nope, no speed. Alright, well, let's leave that on there for now. Alright, so now we're going to want a speed boot for sure. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, alright. Alright, so here we have our immunity and we have a speed set, and most of these pieces are not reforged. Only 2 of them are. And we can almost get 2500 attack with a fairly decent HP and speed. Defense is a little low. I think with reforging, this will probably get up to 2500 hit points, which is I think where I wanted him. And let's see, 2500 attack. Let's say we can get him up to 2500 HP, and then he'll have a little bit more speed as well. I think that's a pretty reasonable build. So let's plug that into a damage calculator and see how that works. Okay, we have the Epic 7 damage calculator. Shout out to Maffey for creating a great website. Our hero's last rider, Krau. I didn't put an artifact in. I don't want to factor that in for the first look. I have 2500 attack. I think that's a number we can get to. The target's defense shouldn't matter given the fact that we have 100% defense penetration on our S3. The health is probably going to be more like 25,000 with that much attack. And let's see, we can set our attack stacks down to 0. We have full mola. So given all of that, we're hitting for about 5,500. And then with every stack on our attack stack here, it looks like we're increasing by a little over 1,000 damage. So when we get max stacks, we'd be hitting for 8,756 damage down here, which is a pretty respectable amount. I'm not sure how many fights you're going to get to full stacks and get to utilize that much damage. Take note on the barrier here. For 25,000 health, you're going to have 2,625 hit point barrier on your S2, and that's with full mola. If If you go down all the way to 0, it's only going to be 1750. So the barriers are not very significant. I think they'll help a teeny bit, but they're not going to be huge. Let's try manipulating these numbers a teeny bit. Let's say we go up to 3000 attack. So now we're getting up to 9340 damage. What about with 0 stacks? We're at 5800, so not a huge difference. We can set this back down to 2500. Let's say we got like 27,000 hit points. So it's looking fairly similar. All the way up to 9,223. So I think with optimized gear, you could probably get to this number here. Maybe only 26,000 hit points. Depends on how fast you want to run your Krau. But I think this is enough damage to put out some serious pressure, because you have to remember this is total defense penetration. You're always going to be hitting these numbers. And the entire enemy team is taking that damage. So if they have an Aureus holder, like a lot of it's going to get redirected to them, and that might just overwhelm an Aureus holder, to be honest. So I think he's going to be a really strong hero. That's pretty much all the thoughts I have on ML Krau right now. So thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Later.